because it is the later game. But as I was saying to you backstage, I'm at a point where I'm almost done with this Glazer out sham. Can't lie. The Glazer out sham for me, it's done my brain in now. I feel like I'm done with it. And not me wanting the Glazers out. I don't support the Glazers. I'm not happy with a lot of the things they do. But I'm at a point where I'm almost sick and tired of talking about it because Man United fans don't want to do what's necessary and keep like defending or like creating weird reasons as to why them funding the Glazers isn't a problem, but yet a fan cammer giving an opinion online is like working with the Glazers. Do you get where I'm coming from? It's for me, I feel like the hero complex has taken over, and every group wants to be the hero. I reached out to every Man United content creator about collaborating, not on my channel, but
I see it, mate.
But creating a new channel where we just discuss all our ideas around what we can do to get the Glazers out, the protests that are going on. Let's keep everybody informed about everything that's happening in one space. Let's make it huge. Let's keep it going. And most reached out. Some reached out and were very honest, and they were literally saying, due to sponsors I've got, I can't do that, which I thought was fair play to you. I'm not going to out you because you've got kids to feed, you've got businesses, and I'm respecting that.
Oh, I would have outed him because at the same time, you're now putting your pocket over the good of the club. Well, that's not why you started the channel.
Yeah, but equally, I'm someone that kind of believes in an element of you're free to do what you want, so I'm going to let you kind of do it because I'm not really an activist that's out there to try and get people in that way. But I've had some that have gone, actually, one guy actually said to me that he wants to maintain integrity over his content, and some of the United content creators are not integral enough for him. And I'm like, okay. And I said, "Are you talking me, someone else?" But not you. I like your stuff. It's just some of the others that I know you've also messaged. So I'm like, okay. My real interpretation was you're scared of that person's your audience seeing that person more and then taking people like subscribers from you. I knew what it is, but I'm like, fine, you stick to doing your thing. And I've listened to a few podcasts recently talking about it and the great movement that we're making and more protests are coming out. And then I just think to myself, but none of you are willing to advocate the only message that's going to get them out, and that is cutting the funds away. And the levels I've seen people go to in recent days and weeks to sort of absorb themselves of blame, and fans are partly to blame because they keep funding the Glazers. And the reason I say this is because the financials came out this week and revenue is down, a loss of 150 million pounds, debts are up, and the ironic thing about all of it is we're now paying we've got the highest wage bill in the history of the Premier League of any club. Okay, so we're paying more wages than any other club. We're in massive debt that's growing. The revenue is dropping, and we've already been told by our owners that don't expect to spend like we did in the previous summer. Meaning, this rebuild is very unlikely to ever be fully completed because there isn't going to be the money to complete it. It will
just a never-ending process.
Exactly, a never-ending process again and again and again and again. And they can't see the wood for the trees, right? Too many Man United fans are blinded by the general way of supporting. I'll back my players through thick and thin, and I'll be there every week giving money to my club to keep supporting us. They can't understand that giving this club your money is prolonging the pain and the agony, because as long as the value of the club continues to stay at this level and slowly rise, as long as the share price bounces back in future, these owners will never sell Manchester United. And there's things I want to read out here. I've already mentioned the debt that's come out. This was a statement from Richard Arnold a few days ago, where he said everyone at the club is aligned on a clear strategy to deliver sustained success on the pitch and a sustainable economic model off of it, to the mutual benefit of fans. Now, this is a scary bit: shareholders and other stakeholders. So the point is, we are doing what we can to make our shareholders and stakeholders earn money. Mutual benefit. There should be no mutual benefit. It should be to win first, and then after that, if we're making profit, then some people can take some money. But no, we're going to make sure that we maintain we're going to do well on the pitch, but not at the behest of people making money out of us. And there is the message. I've seen that message written by nearly every corporate company I've ever worked for. And that means we're doing what we're doing. When companies cut bonuses to normal staff members, cut benefits to normal staff members, make them work more, shrink workforces, cut costs everywhere, do you know who never lose out? The big boys at the top. The big boys at the
get their big bonuses, don't they?
CEOs, the big people never lose out. So what's going to happen at Man United? We'll spend in the short term. We'll spend money on salary. By the way, we're hemorrhaging money in those areas. But to make up for those mistakes, all those mistakes they've made by ruining 3 other rebuilds and wasting money on that, and by creating the biggest wage bill in the history of the Premier League, how does that get counterbalanced? What gets counterbalanced is the stadium doesn't get improved, the training ground doesn't get improved, and then the squad will never be fully complete because they'll cut corners with it and they'll bodge it, they'll stick it together with string and sticky tape, but they will still take their money. But what happens for a couple of year period where the results start to get better? Fans start buying more, fans start spending more, a few more sponsors get on board, the share price rises, they show more non-voting right shares, they make hundreds of millions of pounds more, they take tens of millions in dividends, and the value of the club continues to rise. And then what happens in 18 months, 2 years? We're back in the same position where we're Glazer out, the club's run shout, oh my God, I can't believe the debt's even higher now, I can't believe this is happening. And right now is the perfect time to strike because sponsors are walking away. TeamViewer has already said, we're not renewing. They've already said we're not renewing. Well. The share price is 23% down. It's the lowest it's ever been. Now is the time to strike. Cancel season tickets. Don't buy the merchandise. And I saw something today from someone, one of the big people at the 1958 group that organized these protests. Now, the picture I saw, I'm not going to out the person because, she put this thing out that said, thank you. She said, thank you so much to this individual for sending these to me and my boys. So tracksuits and shirts and all this merchandise from Man United. I clicked on the profile of the person that sent it, and this is the individual. a member of and someone very close to the Glazer Out protest. By the way, has also blocked me when I asked why, tried to reach out and have a conversation around, spending money, buying merchandise from the football club. And this is the crazy thing. The way I see it defended, well, you do know, Terry, that the clubs are guaranteed their money from Adidas, whether they sell an item or not. It's like, no, that isn't true. You are right that if we hit a certain amount, over 2 million units, we get bonuses. But if we don't hit yearly quotas, we don't get all of our money. If we don't,
every shirt that's sold with a name and number on the back, the name and number on the back, the club get every penny of that, by the way.
The club get that. If we don't hit if we're not in the Champions League for a certain period of time, we lose around 30% of the deal. And equally, when the renewal comes up, if we're not hitting quotas and we're not hitting targets and we're not in the Champions League, the renewal comes in at less money.
If it comes in at all.
And this is the thing that gets to me. All these same guys from the 1958 group, most of these content creators, when the news comes out of how bad our finances are, they all go on about money hungry, leech owners, running the club poorly, look at the sponsors walking away, look at the revenue dropping, what can we do to get them out? You actually make it tank more. I know it feels like reverse logic. Well, how could it help my club to make its finances diminish even further? But sometimes you have to step backwards before.
Yeah, but Terry, we have this.
It's so frustrating. Well. It's so frustrating for me. And I just want to say quickly before I finish is, for me, this has just become a sham now. Everybody's trying to do things, and I'm not saying protests don't help. I'm not saying hashtags don't help. They keep things popular. They make noises happen. But at the end of it, if all it takes is a handful of wins and a couple of good signings for you to start pumping your money back in. And if this time we've got an even better manager that can keep our heads above water for a longer than 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, all that's going to happen is they're going to recoup a lot of the money they've lost through revenues, through fans and new sponsors getting on board. And then the same situation is going to happen again because they are never going to invest regularly enough to improve the stadium, the training ground, and the squads to ensure that we can become as successful as the amount of money we spend warrants. And for me, the only way to get rid of them is to pull your money away. And all I really see from people now is, well, I'm going to do the protest. And if they end up selling in 5 years' time, then I'm going to turn around and say, well, see, our protests have worked. Our hashtags have worked. They're not. The only time the Glazers are walking away is when the money's dried up. And the point is this, the money might end up drying up automatically. But if we don't get back to winning ways properly, eventually they may go, listen, we don't think the value can grow anymore. The share price has been static for 2 years. There's no more money to be made there. Sponsors are only renewing, but at lesser amounts. We've got to sell now because otherwise we'll lose out on the maximum price. It has nothing to do with hashtags and protests. All we've got to do now, we could get them out in the next 3 months if we crash that share price further, if we take more revenue away, and if we scare those sponsors. And the bit that's made me realize this is a sham is that nobody really wants to do that, because wearing a Man United kit or going to a game or even just having MUTV to watch press conferences is actually more important to these fans than getting rid of the Glazers.